Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 24 of the Wool Needles Hands podcast. My name is Taylor, and I will be your host. This is a podcast primarily about knitting, but we do get up to other fibery-related topics from time to time. I am coming to you from Henderson, Nevada, which is where I am from and where I live with my husband Brandon, our 3-year-old son Angus, our 5-week-old son Ronan, and our big fat house cat Oscar. Thank you so much for checking out the episode today. If you are a returning subscriber, as always, thank you from the bottom of my heart for your continued support. If you are a new viewer and subscriber, thank you so much for stopping by to see what we have going on over here in the Wool Needles Hands corner of YouTube. You can find me on Instagram. I am at Wool Needles Hands on Instagram. You can also find me at fiber.for.the.people. That is the Instagram account linked to my hand-dyed yarn business, which is Fiber for the People Yarn. You can check that out over at fiberforthepeopleyarn.com. Make sure that when you head over there, sign up for the newsletter so you can stay posted on all of the different things going on with Fiber for the People Yarn, as well as when updates will be. You can also check out the calendars tab, because I do keep a calendar of when I will be having shop updates. Usually it's about 2 updates in advance, but it is helpful to kind of know when things are coming. In each of the events on the calendar, I do give a general idea of which yarn bases I'll be featuring, as well as which colorways I'll be featuring, if I know which ones I'm going to be featuring at the time of creating the event in the calendar. There is a Fiber for the People shop update coming this Monday, which is May 7th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It was originally scheduled for Friday the 4th. However, because this is the last week before my husband goes back to work from his paternity leave, we wanted to soak in all of the moments we could without getting bogged down by hectic update planning. And so I pushed it off to Monday the 7th. So definitely check that out. I have lots of really beautiful colorways coming to the shop, and I will share those colorways with you guys later this week on the next episode of Yarn Gab. That is just a very, very brief video where I tell you a little bit about what is coming to the next shop update. I show you the yarns that I have dyed at that time, and just kind of give you a little bit of an update of what's coming, plus any shop news that I might have. So please, definitely, if you are interested in that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, click the little bell icon next to the subscribe button so that you can be notified anytime I post anything on this channel, including Yarn Gab, any other vlog videos that I might be uploading between now and the next time I have a podcast. So just kind of keep that in mind, because it will keep you up to date on when I post a video. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can do that via email. It is woolneedleshands@gmail.com. That is the email account linked to the podcast here. Any correspondence that you have related to the podcast, donation requests, anything like that, please use that email address to contact me. Or, of course, you can contact me through Ravelry. I am at Wool Needles Hands on Ravelry as well. If you have any questions regarding Fiber for the People yarn, or anything in regards to an order that you may have made, or questions that you have about the yarn, please use the email address fiberforthepeoplecontact@gmail.com. That's what I use to correspond with customers regarding anything about Fiber for the People yarn. You can also find our Ravelry group for the Wool Needles Hands podcast by heading over to Ravelry, clicking on the groups tab, typing in Wool Needles Hands, a knitting podcast, and there you go. Join over there. There are over 1,000 members in this group. It has grown so fast, and it's super exciting. Lots of really fun topics of conversation, lots of involvement happening there. We have a lot of activity with the knit-along that we have going on right now that is a year-long knit-along, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But if you feel so inclined, please head over there, introduce yourselves. I love to hear new members coming through and see where you're coming from. So definitely check that out. It is the Wool Needles Hands Ravelry group over on Ravelry. All right, I want to give you guys an update on a promotion that I am offering you that is good for a pattern over at Ravelry that has been generously donated to the channel. This is a sock pattern by Everyday Yarn Works. She is Ruth at Everyday Yarn Works on Instagram, and she has just recently released a sock pattern using Fiber for the People yarn in the Avocado at Law colorway. It is called Falls of Nimrodel. It is a Lord of the Rings reference, and it's a beautiful sock pattern. She has offered 30% off of the pattern to Wool Needles Hands viewers, so I wanted to give you guys an update on that. These are the socks here. They are gorgeous. The colorway is just stunning. I love that colorway so much. It is a solid that is available on a dyed to order basis in the shop right now. I have a skein of it here on my workhorse base. So this is Avocado at Law. This is the colorway that Ruth is featuring in her pattern, Falls of Nimrodel. It's beautiful. It comes out a little bit more yellow on screen here. It's definitely a true chartreuse. Really, really pretty. So that is the yarn that she features in the pattern. If you have any interest in using Fiber for the People yarn for this pattern, All solids are on a dye to order basis, so you can find those by going up to the shop link in Fiber for the People's online shop and clicking dye to order, and that's where all the solids will be there. So that's something that you can look into if you are interested in knitting the Falls of Nimrodel socks. And also, to get 30% off of the pattern, do not forget to use woolneedleshands as the coupon code at checkout. Thank you, Ruth, for sharing this with the podcast. I love this pattern. It's absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to knit a pair myself, probably in that same color, because they are just stunning. So definitely check out the pattern, guys. It's beautiful. Don't forget to use the woolneedleshands promo code to get 30% off. Thank you, Ruth. It has been about a month since I recorded last, actually probably a little bit over that, because as many of you know, on March 25th, I gave birth to our son, Ronan. He's 5 weeks old now. And since my last episode, and to be completely honest with you, I think I recorded the episode the Wednesday before I went into labor, and then I had a shop update on the day that I went into labor, which was on a Sunday. So a lot happened kind of at one time, and then of course the baby bliss that ensues after a new baby comes takes up a lot of time. So therefore I have not recorded in a little over a month, but I'm really happy to be here with you guys today. I have some things to share with you guys. Of course, I'm going to share with you Ronan, who is our new member of the family, and I'm excited to do that. But we have a lot of other things to talk about as well, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, so the Year of Hats knit along is going strong right now. We've already finished April. We're moving into May, and I feel like I missed an entire month of not only talking about the knit along with you guys, but also kind of knitting on my own April hat. Things slowed down when the baby came. You kind of realize how little knitting time you have in that first month of having a new baby. So when I show you later on the progress that I've made on my April hat, you will realize that I've had very little knitting time, but that's okay, because things are starting to, regulate a little bit. The routines are falling into place, so I'm finding more knitting time every day. So that's really great. But let's go ahead and talk about where we are in the knit along right now. As I mentioned, April is over, and April was the month of knitting lace hats, and so that's what we did, is we knit lace hats. And you guys, the chatter thread and finished objects thread are beautiful. The hats that you guys are knitting over there are so inspiring, so gorgeous. You guys are really pulling out all the stops for this one. I can tell that everybody had a lot of fun with this, so I'm super stoked. I'm excited to share some of those here in just a moment. So before we move on to May, I want to, we're going to talk about April, but I want to do the prize for March, because March was knitting baby hats, and I have yet to give out the prize for that. So let's go ahead and talk about the March winner. The prize for March I talk about in episode 23 of the podcast. To save time here, I'm not going to go into great detail about the prize again now, but if you are interested in finding out what the prize is, you can click on the little bar that pops up right over here. That is the previous episode. This is the timestamp for here is the timestamp for the March prize. So if you're interested in that, you can check it out over there. The winner for March is Lemon Girly, who knit the little guitar man's hat. It is so adorable. I love this hat so much. Thank you so much for participating. Lemon Girly, get in touch with me so I can get your prize out to you right away. Either use the email account that I give at the beginning of the show, or you can get in touch with me on Ravelry as well, and I will get your prize out to you. So thank you so much for participating, and congratulations. So the prize for the April portion of the Year of Hats knit along is really beautiful, and I'm really excited to share it with you. Caroline, who is the hand dyer behind Yeah Yarn, has generously donated not only this mini skein bundle, but another skein of yarn to the podcast as a giveaway. And so I am including a mini skein bundle by Yeah Yarn, in addition to a stitch marker holder by Lorelei Urto Jewelry Designs. So I'm going to show you guys, because these are absolutely gorgeous. So here is the mini skein bundle that was donated by Yeah Yarn. Beautiful assortment of colors in here. A beautiful chartreuse, a really pretty, very, very delicate cream, kind of a rose colored cream in here. I'll turn it up this way. Kind of other rose and mauve colors, beautiful blue tonal, a nice fun orange and kind of earthy brown tonal, not even a tonal, variegated little colorway here. So a lot of fun yarns in this little mini skein bundle. These are the Vibes mini set. It is an 80-10-10 merino nylon silk, non-superwash, and it is organic, so that's pretty exciting if you're into that kind of thing. And it is, they consist of 520 gram skeins, so that will be part of the April prize. In addition to, like I said, a little stitch marker holder by Lorelei Urto Designs, and you guys, this is gorgeous. So here is the stitch marker holder here. She uses vintage papers, I believe, to create these little gems, or what would you call these? Charms, excuse me, little charms right here. And I don't know, just the quality of her craftsmanship. And I've shown other things by Lorelei on the show before, and she just has, you know, such attention to detail. The work is so high quality, really, really well designed. I don't know. Yeah, I just love them. So Lorelei, thank you so much for donating this to the show. Really cute thing to attach to a project bag to hold any little stitch markers that you have. So this will also be included in the April prize. Here is Lorelei's really pretty business card. Lorelei Urto Jewelry. I love her designs so much. So you can find her on Etsy. She also has a website, and then you can also find her on Instagram. So these two things will be coming to you for the April portion of the knit along. And without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the winner. The winner is Lane Hampton. She knit the Exploring in the Woods pattern by Melinda Vermeer for herself and also for her daughter. And you guys, it is adorable. Here's a quick look at her work here. Lane Hampton, please get in touch with me so I can get your prize out to you. Congratulations. Thank you so much for participating in the knit along. Everybody who participated in the April month, thank you so much for participating. Your hats are gorgeous. It's so much fun to see all of them. So anyway, Lane Hampton, contact me via Ravelry or email. Give me your address and I can get this sent out to you right away. Okay, so we are at May now. Now, May is a month for using a pattern to build a skill, some kind of a skill building hat pattern. It doesn't matter what kind of hat it is, who it's for, the weight of the yarn. You can knit, you can crochet. Those are all on limits. It just has to be something that builds a skill. Now, it would be kind of interesting if you're a knitter to use this as an opportunity to learn crochet, but you know, it's up to you. And it doesn't matter how big the skill is. It could be a big skill. It could be a teeny tiny technique, as long as the hat is teaching you something new. So you really don't have to feel pressure to learn some kind of crazy, you know, entrelace or, you know, brioche to make this, you know, to make this worth it, I guess you could say. Just anything, as long as you're adding a skill or a technique to your set. So that's what we're doing for the month of May. I have not determined the prize yet, but I will share that with you guys on the next episode of the podcast. I'll be closing the thread for the finished objects for May on June 1st, but the chatter thread is open right now. So find your pattern and get chatting over there on the chatter thread. Share with us what skill you would like to build, any kind of projections that you have for this pattern for the month of May. I'm still trying to decide what it is that I want to do. You know, the whole brioche thing definitely goes through my mind because I would like to learn brioche, but I just don't know when I'm going to wear it, and it's kind of scary. I don't know. It's a whole other can of worms, and I'm not going to open that right now. But I am trying to figure out what it is that I'm going to be working on. I'll probably post a vlog episode sharing with you my projections for what I'm going to be working on for May, but I still have a long way to go on my April hat, so I may honestly just personally scrap May and use May to finish my April hat because I'm really behind. So, but you guys definitely have fun with this because it's going to be a perfect opportunity to learn a new skill. And remember, it does not matter how big or little the skill is, just something new, just learning something new. And it's as simple as that. And I will share the prize with you guys on the next episode of the podcast. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of those beautiful April lace hats. Absolutely gorgeous. So inspiring. I love it so much. I wish I could just show you guys every single one because they're all so beautiful. Thank you guys, everybody who participated in the knit along and is continuing to participate. It's so much fun. I love this so much. I'm definitely doing this again next year. Okay guys, exciting news! We have reached 5,000 subscribers here at the Wool Needles Hands podcast channel. We are actually just a little over 5,000 and I am so excited. You know, back in February was my podiversary, my 1 year podcast anniversary, and I never mentioned anything about it. I guess I shouldn't think about it. I think about it all the time, but I didn't think about mentioning it on the podcast. For whatever reason, maybe an episode didn't align with the date, who knows. But it is really exciting to me to know that it's been just a little over a year that I've been doing this podcast, and it's grown so much in that short amount of time. A really cool community has kind of popped up around the podcast, and it's so heartwarming and just really exciting to kind of know that. And so I want to thank you guys so much for all of your continued support, for being here and hanging out with me every time I post a podcast episode, for being involved on Instagram, coming back to check out the vlog videos and all the little things that I post here on the channel. You guys are amazing, and it's been a long time coming to post another episode, and in this last month that I've been away, I've been itching to get back and share with you guys some of the things that I've been doing, even if I haven't done a ton of knitting. I just wanted to get back in front of the camera and chat with you guys. So thank you for being that for me and for kind of helping me create this community. So in order to celebrate 5,000 subscribers, I have a little bit of a giveaway for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to be giving away a project bag by one of my favorite project bag creators. That is NSP Designs, and that is Nicole. She is at NSP Designs on Instagram, and she has the cutest fabric choices. I think that's, you know, a big part of it too, is they always catch my eye, and then the construction of her bags are really absolutely great. So here is the project bag that I'm going to be giving away. This is, oh gosh, it's so adorable. You can actually, I want you to, just to kind of appreciate the quality of the lining of the bag. Here, I'll show you the fabric first. So here's the fabric, these adorable little llamas, and inside really cute polka dots, really pretty. And then in here I have her business card. So this is NSP Designs. I love the simplicity and minimalism or minimalist style of her business card. Really cool. So what's really cool about these bags is that they're not super heavy, but the way that she's interfaced them, I guess you call that, is really nice because it keeps them, they stand really, really well on their box bottoms. They don't kind of fold over on themselves, and I really love that. And if you listen, we're going to get all kinds of ASMR right now. So if you listen to the bag, you can hear that, right? It kind of sounds like it's lined with almost like a real firm cardstock. I don't know. I'm not super knowledgeable on interfacing, but I can just tell you that it's really, really nice structurally. It holds up really nice when you're using it. You can kind of set it on a table and it won't fold over on itself. So it's really beautiful. So this project bag is going to be one that I'm giving away for the 5K giveaway, in addition to a skein of yarn by Fiber for the People Yarn, which is my own hand-dyed yarn business. This is a new colorway that I'm definitely bringing back to the shop because I absolutely adore it. I love chartreuse. I love the combination of greens and purples. I don't know why those colors to me just are so appealing, but that's kind of why I love this skein so much. So this is Asparagus Salad, and it is a new colorway, and actually you can get your hands on this colorway in the shop right now. So if you are interested in this, definitely check it out in the shop right now. I'm not sure that there are any left on this base. This is Taylor's favorite 80/20 superwash merino nylon. But there are a couple skeins of this in the shop right now, so if you're interested, head over. Don't forget to use your Wool Needles Hands viewer coupon code though if you do head over there to check it out. It's WNHLOVE and you get 10% off. But this is in the shop right now, but this is going to be in the giveaway with the project bag. by NSP Designs. In addition to these two items, I'm going to be giving away a pattern to you guys from Alyssa, who is at Something From String on Instagram. She has a sock pattern that is absolutely adorable. I want to knit the little shorty version of the sock right away. I actually have a skein of this yarn, and I pulled it off the shelf because I love it so much. And so I have it sitting. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. And I think I'm going to knit a pair of these socks with the yarn because the little shorties, they have this cute little picot edge and it's just absolutely adorable. I love it so much. Alyssa, thank you so much for sharing this pattern with the podcast as a donation and with me as well. I appreciate that. I can't wait to cast on. They are so adorable. So I'm going to be gifting that pattern with this skein of yarn and this project bag for the 5K giveaway. And I'm excited to do that because I really believe that this is a gorgeous colorway for that sock. I don't know, I just think it would be really, really pretty. So these will be coming for the 5K giveaway. And all you have to do is answer a question. Now this is kind of, it's a question for the giveaway, but it's also a question because I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. As a mother of two now, and I'm reaching out to, everybody here. You do not have to be a mother. You do not have to be a mother of two, and you don't have to be a mother of boys. You don't even have to be a woman. I just would like from you guys to muster up any advice you have for me going forward as a mother of two. So, and it, like I said, it does not have to come from experience at all. I'm just curious what you guys might have to share with me because this is a whole new world that I'm experiencing right now, and it's exciting. It's a lot of fun. I know it's going to be just a really cool adventure, but I would like to have you guys share with me some advice. What would you like to share with me as a new mother of two children to go forward with? And like I said, it doesn't have to come from a place of experience by any means. That will be your entrance into the giveaway, and I will choose randomly from the comments down below for the winner of the 5K giveaway. Please, in addition to your comment, give this video a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe. You have to be a subscriber to win, and the subscription and the thumbs up, all of that support really helps grow the channel, so please don't forget to do those things. So before I share with you guys what I'm drinking today, let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. And this is something that I did when I was pregnant with Angus, had Angus shortly after having him. I did this then as well, but I chopped off all of my hair. It's just something that for whatever reason, after the baby comes along, I'm inspired to just simplify so many different things in my life. And it's not coming from a place of like, I'm crazy, so I'm gonna like buzz cut my hair, like, you know, Britney Spears post Kevin Federline phase. Like, that's not what I'm going for here. It's just, I typically am a pixie cut gal. I usually have very short hair, and there's something therapeutic about kind of sloughing it all off and simplifying everything when you have a new child, because everything changes so much that it's almost like spring cleaning, you know, for yourself. And that might sound kind of crazy. I don't know if any of this makes sense, but it doesn't matter. Regardless, I chopped off all my hair, gave myself a really short pixie cut, and you guys, things are so much easier. And that's the best. So if you can simplify one small thing or one big thing in your life after having a baby, then do it, because it makes all the difference. So I'm really excited to be sporting a new haircut. It's super easy to maintain, clearly. It definitely exposes like all of my natural hair color. I stopped dyeing my hair actually a few months even before finding out I was pregnant, but there was still, you know, color in my hair, so it looked darker. But this is my full natural hair color, and it's, the more I notice it, especially in the sun, the more I realize that there's some red in there, which tells you that I've been dyeing my hair for a while now. To discover that I have a lot more red than I realized means I haven't seen my natural hair color in all its glory in quite some time, but it's up there and it's got a little bit of a red tinge to it. Not sure how I feel about that, but I love the haircut. I love the simplicity of it. I don't know, it's kind of fun and funky. And what's not to like about a fun and funky mom of two boys? So I don't know, but that's that. So I did chop up all my hair and I love it. And right now I am actually doing something a little different. I'm not drinking tea. And it's totally a tea-worthy day out there. It's kind of chilly. We've had lots of rain, but lately I've been really digging iced coffee. I didn't drink a lot of coffee when I was pregnant with Ronan just because you kind of want to limit your coffee intake. And so I feel like I've really been enjoying coffee beverages lately. I still don't drink a ton of them, but iced coffee is super refreshing, and it is starting to warm up generally here in Henderson. And so iced coffee, that's what I'm having. And I wanted to share with you guys kind of how I make my iced coffee. It's kind of a waste not, want not approach to coffee here, but what my husband and I do is when it's just the two of us, make a pretty big a pretty big pot of coffee in the morning, knowing that we're not going to drink all of it in the morning. And then we take what's left in that pot, we put it in a canister and stick it in the fridge. And then the next day we use the leftover coffee to create iced coffees. And I just fill a tumbler, up to like yay high with ice, add my coffee, add my half and half, and then whatever sweetener. My husband likes to use the blue agave nectar and I use Splenda, but it makes a really super easy, nicely concentrated, because the coffee kind of becomes a little bit more concentrated and maybe a little bit more bitter in the refrigerator overnight. And I think that kind of enhances the flavor when you're having iced coffee the next day. So that's kind of what I'm going with right now, and it's super refreshing and super delicious. So back in early April, I stumbled upon an article in Time magazine online about a man who knit sweaters of landmarks and, just famous landmarks around the world. He would knit sweaters to show off those landmarks, and then he would take trips to the landmarks and take photos of himself with wearing his sweaters in front of the landmarks that were represented on his sweaters. The gentleman's name is Sam Barsky, and he decided that he was going to knit these sweaters based on upcoming travel plans that he had made. So if he knew he was going to Stonehenge, then he was going to knit a sweater to show Stonehenge, or to symbolize Stonehenge, so that he could take a photo of himself standing in front of Stonehenge wearing a sweater of Stonehenge. And I saw this and I immediately knew it was just the perfect story to share on Knitting in the News, and I wanted to share with you guys. So I'm just going to put in here a quick montage of Sam's sweaters and his landmarks. Super cool. The creativity of some people, it always just blows me away. He says it takes about a month to knit each sweater, so his travel plans have to be planned in advance. And he is currently working on a project where he's knitting a sweater to depict California raisins and Martin Luther King Jr., and he would really like to knit a sweater to depict the Groundhog Day holiday. So super interesting, and I definitely had to share it with you guys. So this episode is going to be a little scrimpy on the knitting works in progress. Like I said, I haven't had a ton of time, so I'm only going to share with you guys the one project that I'm currently working on right now, because I just haven't found a ton of time to have multiples going at the same time. But that time is starting to kind of funnel in, so I will have more projects to share with you guys next time, and hopefully at least one finished object to share with you guys next time, maybe two, because I have a half object that I'm going to share with you guys today. So I just want to go ahead and briefly share with you guys what I have of my squash blossom hat. Now, prepare to be dumbfounded by my absolutely intricate lace work that I have done on this hat. All of the progress that I've made on this hat. I'm absolutely kidding, because there's no lace work and very little progress. I'm going to share it with you anyway, because it's what I've got. So here we go. So this is the beginning of the squash blossom hat by, like I said, Ermion Design on Instagram. And that, you guys, is what I've gotten finished. I started this hat, I casted on this hat, I think the day that I went into labor. I believe it was the day I went into labor, and this is all I've managed to get done. And quite honestly, things haven't really been crazy around here. I mean, there's always an element of crazy when you have a 3-year-old and a brand new baby, but nothing like crazy. Like, it's not like I've been, you know, running around the house with a baby on the hip and one hanging from my leg covered in spit up and, you know, half dressed. It's not been anything like that, actually. It's just been trying to get back into the routine and the rhythm. And also, too, you know, maintaining the yarn business. And so making sure that I have an update and keeping things stocked in there. So, you know, just things get in the way. I actually probably don't even have to explain this to you, because many of you out there who are mothers or parents of young children probably are already completely aware of why it would be difficult to get a lot of knitting done in that first month of having a new baby. But that's just the case. But I'm finding now that I'm having more of that time, which is really exciting to me. So this is what I've gotten so far. Now, I do have some things to tell you about this little tiny band of knitting that I'm really excited about. So this pattern uses the twisted rib stitch for the brim of the hat. And you guys, I thought that I had knit twisted rib before, but I think I was doing something else, or maybe I'm just thinking back on something that was similar. But this, I never have done a twisted rib, which is crazy to me, but I love it so much. I love the texture. It almost has, and I think other people have said this before too, but I'm going to get it really close. It kind of has almost like a faux brioche look about it. I don't know, there's something about the depth of the ribs and the puffiness of the ribs that kind of give it a little bit of a brioche look to it. So you can almost even call it like a poor man's brioche. I don't know. It's really, really beautiful. So I love that. I definitely would like to incorporate a twisted rib on a pair of socks. Maybe when I knit my next pair of socks, I'll do a twisted rib, because I just really love it. It's not the most fun to knit because it is a little bit more slow, but that's okay because I really like the way it comes out. The only thing is because knitting a twisted rib, it incorporates knitting through the back loop, and anytime you go from purling to knitting through the back loop, it just, I don't know, just kind of gums up the works a little bit for me, at least. It slows things down. And then also because I'm knitting this using 2 strands of yarn held together. Let's see if you can even see that here. So the yarn that I'm using is Fiber for the People yarn on Twisty Singles Luxe, which is a silk. There's a silk infused 70-30 single ply wool and silk blend. So it's super slippery. And then I'm also using this, it's kind of a mystery fiber because it was just from my stash. It's just a real fluffy, kind of like a mohair fiber almost. So these two are being held together. And when you're doing a twisted rib and you're knitting through the back loop and purling, it's really easy if you're not careful to split those apart and then to have to kind of knit back so you can catch them both. So that kind of slows it down a little bit as well. So you know, that on top of everything else that I mentioned, it's amazing I've gotten this much done. I'm kidding, but not really. So that's what I've gotten going right now with my squash blossom hat. This is the reason why I may forego May's hat and just finish this. And I'm okay with that because May is the month of a skill building hat, and I really kind of feel like maybe this this twisted rib is kind of like a new technique, something I haven't really done. It wasn't very difficult, but still. Doesn't matter. No technique or skill is too small for the month of May. So that's what I've gotten so far with this. And I really love it. I love the color. Absolutely love the color. So like I said, the yarn is Fiber for the People yarn, which I don't think I have to say. It's, you know, my hand-dyed yarn. So this is the colorway. This is the clay colorway by Fiber for the People yarn. Like I said, on the Twisty Singles Luxe 70-30 merino silk base. Love that. And I have paired it with this really pretty fluffy fiber to kind of go with it. I'm calling it a fluffy fiber because I'm not exactly sure what this is. I think it's a mohair blend. I almost think there's some acrylic in there. I'm not 100% sure, but the two of these together are really beautiful. The fluffy fiber kind of mutes down the clay, as you can see kind of here. When you blend the two together, it's a little bit less saturated than this in the actual knit fabric, and I think it's perfect. It's absolutely beautiful. So excited about how this hat is going to look once it gets knit up a little bit more, once I make a little bit more progress on it. I'm taking every opportunity I have lately, so if we go anywhere, if we go to the park, if we go anywhere in the car, I'm working on this when I have an opportunity. I find myself taking this places and not working on it, but at least it's with me for when I do have that opportunity. Okay, so that's all I'm going to share for works in progress today. Keep posted for the next episode of the podcast, plus any vlog episodes that I have coming up between now and the next episode of the podcast, because I am going to be forecasting my upcoming project for the Year of Hats Knit Along. Most likely not May, but definitely June. So that's coming soon, and I'm hoping to have this hat finished, or at least half finished by the time I post another episode. And then the half object that I'm going to share with you next, I will have that finished by the next time we have a podcast episode, I hope. So we'll see. Okay, so I mentioned on my last episode of the podcast that I was going to begin working on the Kinda Magic socks by Wool and the Gang. Now, I'm really excited about these socks, but I do have kind of some things to share with you guys regarding the pattern, about kind of how, and I'm actually going to be doing a separate video where I do a proper kind of review of this pattern, but I'll give you little bits and pieces of my experience right now, since I do have one of them done as a half object. So the Kinda Magic socks by Wool and the Gang, this is them here. They are a self-patterning sock that were designed in cahoots with Regia yarn. So Regia is known for their self-striping yarn, their self-patterning yarn. Regia collaborated with Wool and the Gang, and they created the Kinda Magic socks, and they're gorgeous. So this is my first Kinda Magic sock, and it's really beautiful, and I really love the way that it turned out. A lot of people were saying that they couldn't get their gauge just where it needed to be for the pattern to actually kind of reveal itself the way it's supposed to. And I can see where maybe that would happen, but quite honestly, I feel like, I don't know, I can see where that would happen, but there is a way, if you follow the pattern, to make sure that you are staying on track with your gauge. It's actually very cleverly put together in this portion of the sock. So this little blue stripe and white stripe and pink right here, or excuse me, blue and light pink and dark pink right here under the cuff, that is the portion of the pattern where you determine whether you need to go up in needle size or down in needle size, so that when you continue the sock, your leopard print is revealed the way it's supposed to be revealed. So there's a kind of techniques or, built-in tools in the pattern to kind of help make sure that your gauge is correct. And that's all I used to determine whether or not my gauge was correct. And it worked out. So I just kind of started. They give you 3 needle sizes that you're going to need. And they say you're going to need those 3 just because your gauge may change. So I just started with the smallest needle size and I went from there. So I started my cuff on the smallest needle size. I never did a gauge swatch. I just started the cuff. And then once I got to this little stripe right here, that's when I determined whether I needed to go up 1 needle size or 2 needle sizes, and so on and so forth. Overall, I really love the pattern. As a whole, I love it. I love the way it looks. I absolutely love the yarn. The colors are great. But what I don't like about it is the heel and the toe. So the toe, and I've heard this from other people as well, the way that it's written out in the pattern, there's far too many rows in the decrease section of the toe. So instead of doing a decrease and then a knit row or round and then a decrease and then a knit round until you're down to the number of stitches, there's 2 knit rounds between each decrease. So essentially what's happening is you're creating this super long toe. So typically when you have a solid toe section, it's usually only like this much of the sock. Well, we have this much of the sock that is devoted to the toe, and it's just, I don't know, it's just too long of a toe. Now, I know I probably could have made my own adjustments. I definitely could have made my own adjustments, but I didn't. I just went through the pattern the way it was written, and lo and behold, my toe is just, it's pretty long. So what I had to do to compensate for the fact that my toe was too long, and honestly, if you look at the pattern photo that Wool and the Gang has, it looks like the toe is kind of long on the model as well, which surprises me. I don't know why they would have kept it like that because you want your toe to fit really snug over your feet so it's not slipping around when you're walking around in them. But it does look like it's a little long on the model. But yeah, it was definitely a little long, and I would, on my next pair of these, not on the next sock because I want to try and keep everything the same, is I would definitely just do my own toe. And then I also, but to compensate for the long toe, I did fewer decreases on my heel to kind of pull it, to pull the sock, make it shorter. It's kind of confusing to lay that out. And when I do the proper review of this pattern and when it's fresh in my mind, I'll explain exactly what I'm talking about. But it did require taking detailed notes on the pattern so I know exactly what to do on the next sock. But I don't like the way the heel is constructed. The heel is constructed essentially in the same way as the toe. So you have the toe decreases that you would typically do for a regular rounded toe. You're doing that here for the heel. So essentially this is a toe, but it goes over your heel. And I don't like that because I don't like the way it fits and I don't like the way it looks. And again, if you look at the picture of the model, it's kind of wonky looking. It doesn't look like a short row heel. I mean, you would think it kind of has that like fish lips kiss look because of the seam that runs down the side, but it's a real thick seam, and that's because it's a rounded toe decrease seam. And actually, I'll pull that over a little bit so you can kind of see that that's essentially a toe decrease, and it's Kitchenered shut just like a toe would be. And I don't really like that very much. So a couple of things to consider. So if you are going to do the Kind of Magic socks and you don't like the idea of doing a heel like that or having the super long toe, just plan on having those sections of the sock to do those to your own liking. Now, it is an afterthought heel in the sense that you hold the heel stitches and then you add the heel later, but you don't have to do it like the pattern calls, I don't believe. This was my first like afterthought heel, but I really don't think that I needed to do it that way. So if you wanted to kind of adjust that and do it in a way that works for you, you could definitely do that. But other than those two things, I really do like knitting the sock, especially, and I do like the pattern. It's a ton of fun to knit, a lot of fun to knit. Watching it kind of reveal itself is really, really satisfying. So definitely check it out if you're curious. And the yarn is beautiful. I love Regia yarn. I've only held and like handled Regia yarn one other time before this, but I really do love it. And I see all the really pretty things that people are knitting with Regia, so it's super inspiring. So I really do like this. But like I said, it's just got the super long toe, a few little wonky details that need to be ironed out, but that's about it. So I'm excited to start my next one. I gotta finish it. Just gotta finish this pair. But that is my half object that I have right now. So I'm excited about that. I love it. All right, guys, the biggest finished object I've ever shared on the show is my son Ronan. I'm going to go ahead and add him to the show because he is a finished object. He's been cooking for, he was cooking for 9 months and now he's here. I finished him and I want to share him with you guys. Instead of bringing him in here right now because I think he's napping right now. My husband's out there. When I went out there to get my iced coffee, he was feeding him. So by now he should be napping. So I'm not going to bring him in and show him here, but I do have a little kind of video clip of Ronan. So I'm going to share that with you guys now and introduce you to Ronan Kearney Earl. So he's pretty adorable. I'm in love with him. We are all in love with him. He's very precious. He was 6 pounds 11 ounces when he was born. He was born on March 25th at 10:15 p.m. It was really exciting. I stayed home for most of my labor process because it was really important to me to kind of get to the hospital shortly before he was born. So I was home through most of the labor. We got to the hospital at 8:45, almost 9 o'clock, and he was born at 10:15. So it was a really beautiful experience. A natural birth, which is exciting. No epidural. I had an epidural with my first, and I really wanted to have Ronan without an epidural, which was the reason why we stayed home to do the labor, because there's something about being in your home when you're going through all of that that kind of eases some small part of the discomfort. But like I said, I'm not going to share a whole birth story, whatever, but just that little bit of that. But we're really excited to have him here, so I'm really excited to share him with you, to have shared him with you. I'm in love, absolutely in love. He's adorable, and I will continue to share him as he grows and gets older. You can also see pictures on Instagram. That's all I've really had to share is just some Ronan pictures. But yeah. So that is my finished object that I wanted to share with you guys in the FO section. Alright guys, that's all I have time for today. I want to remind you guys that we do a call to action here at the Wool Needles Hands podcast where I ask you, the viewer, to head out into the wild in your community to your local yarn stores. Take some video, take some photos, send them to me here at the podcast at woolneedleshands@gmail.com so that I can compile them into a photo or video montage set to music and share with the viewers at the end of the podcast different local yarn shops from around the country, from around the world, what have you. So please, if you'd like to get involved, definitely do that. Just send them to me at the email address that I provided just now and at the beginning of the episode, and I will put them together and feature them at the end of one of the podcast episodes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for episode 24 of the Wool Needles Hands podcast. It has been so nice hanging out with you guys, chatting about what's been going on, sharing with you guys some of the really cool projects going on over on the Ravlery thread, and just, having some time, just spending some time to chit chat. I look forward to talking to you guys on episode 25. In between now and then, I'm hoping to get out another vlog episode, at least one. And then the next episode of the podcast. So you guys, I will see you then. Happy knitting, happy whatever it is that you guys are doing, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.